This is a test. This is only a test. So, when it comes to keeping animals, dogs, cats, we automatically know one day we're going to need a vet visit. Let's face it, animals aren't immortal except for jellyfish. But the number one question people wonder when it comes to invertebrates is healthcare. What do you do when your tarantula is sick or needs severe medical treatment? Is there such a thing as an ICU for a tarantula? Let's find out. Boom.
Hello,
Boom, boom.
everybody. Welcome to Tarantulas After Dark. Hi,
Have a
Sean.
wonderful show, and I'll work your comments and everything from the back.
All right, awesome. So, the answer to that is a quick yes. Yes, there is something that we need to do when it comes to our tarantulas, invertebrates, and so on and so forth. So, when we talk about ICU, right, we are referring to when your animal is severely sick. Basically, we are attentive to do something about it, obviously, right? We want to see the extent of the animal's injuries, if it's imminent. That's where we become attentive and we go with what needs to be done, what needs to be taken care of. So, whether it's a lost limb, uh, maybe it's on its way to death row, or maybe you just have some bad husbandry requirements that needs to be updated or just taken care of. So that's what we're here today to do, is to talk about how to take care of your tarantula specifically, or spider, because it can go both ways. If you have a spider or a tarantula, whether they're sick, injured, or anything imminent, what do we do? So the number one thing you want to do is, what is it, people? Remain calm. When you're in situations, what is the one thing that they always ask you to do? Remain calm. Because it's the situation where we can manage everything with a clear view, a clear mind, right? The second thing is we have to assist the situation and make lists of either the injury or the extent of the animal, where whether it's sick or has a lost limb or something like that, whether it has a bad husbandry requirement, update or upgrade. And the other thing is, what situation do we need, or what type of enclosure or environment do we need to use in order to make an ICU? So, of course, I brought things for to set as an example. So, Sean, you want to put up that first picture, please? Perfect. Okay. I cannot see the screen for the life of me, so I'm going to use my tablet over here. Okay. So the first thing we have here is remain calm, right? Assess the situation, make a list of injury, quarantine immediately, prevents any underlying exposure illness by separating the animal from other animals. So ICU is just a temporary situation placeholder um, for the suitable animal. So that's what we have here. And an example of that is, remember, you want to accommodate the size of your animal. So just for reference, I'm using this 4 by 4, not feet, quart with a lid, has air holes. You want to make sure it has good ventilation. This does hold humidity. So before you decide on using either a tub like this or like this, a critter keeper that doesn't hold humidity, you want to make sure the extent of the animal where it's at. So if your animal or tarantula is has a situation where it's dehydrated, you want to use a tub or something like a plastic container that holds humidity. Now we're going to get into the substrate a little bit after. If you're assisting the tarantula's injury or something where it doesn't need that much humidity, then you want to use that critter keeper or a type of tub or anything that has a lot of airflow. So the reason why I say these two different enclosure types for your ICU is because you want to accommodate their situation. And that way you can assist whatever they're going through. So, and of course, you always want a hide that's easy accessible. Like not, you don't want to use like a cork round or something where they're going to wedge themselves in and you can't get to them, like for in case of emergency or anything, like you want to check on them. And if they're in there, you don't want to stress them out even more than they are already if you have to like dig them out. So you want something that's easily accessible that you can just lift up, check on it, do your treatments, and boom, you're Bob's your uncle. You want a water dish. I don't care what you've seen or what you've heard. All animals, this is considered for all animals, whether invertebrate, dog, cat, doesn't matter. You need a water dish. Okay, so I'm going to talk about how tarantulas absorb water and absorb humidity and stuff like that. So tarantulas, their mouth parts, sorry, my crusty gecko. Okay, yes, thank you. So their mouth part acts as a or their trachea acts as a straw. So everything that they eat and drink, they're going to slurp it up. So think of their mouth as a straw. And then the way that they're breathing is like a vent. You know how you see vents like on an airplane or stuff like that? So tarantulas and spiders have 4 book lungs. So those lungs are on the underside of their abdomen and they act as a ventilation system where like a literal vent. So if you have your tub or whatever enclosure that you're putting them and you want to put them on paper towel for ICU, you want to be careful. So think of it like this. If you're sitting on paper towel, on damp paper towel, where's the air going to go? It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to go straight into the tarantula and they're going to suffocate. So you want to make sure your tarantula is on dry paper towel. And if you are going to use paper towel, just use one side. Hold on. So you got your paper towel, right? And if you're going to line it up like this, right? Just one side, spray down, put your water dish on that wet side, fill up the water, and just leave that side wet, because then they have the option of going where they need, whether it's the dry side or the wet side. Okay. If you're going to use substrate is the best option when it comes to a tarantula that needs humidity or it's having trouble, whether it's dehydrated severely, then that's when you want to use substrate. So substrate is more arid and it holds that humidity and they can slurp up, because think of it in the wild. What are they using in the wild? They're on already substrate, dirt. Hi, everybody. Thank you everybody for joining in. So yeah, if you use substrate and you have that one side, same rule applies. So you want to use that substrate, not like it's muddy, like really muddy, just enough humidity and dampness where you touch it and water doesn't seep out. Just enough where it's wet, you feel that it's wet, but it's not muddy. So they have the option of soaking up that water from the dirt itself. Um, what else? Oh, yeah. And then you have your hide, right? So your hide is going to go where? Where do you think it's going to go? On the dry side or the wet side? What do you think? The dry side. So I have a very important, how you say this? What's that word? Where instead of like watching me, you can watch somebody else. So on YouTube, check this guy out. Tarantula Guy 1976. He has a very good video on ICU. This is really, really old, years ago. But because of his video, it helped me when I was having trouble with some of my tarantulas in the beginning when I started way back 10 years ago. So that video helped with a DKS when a tarantula had dyskinetic syndrome. So it's still unheard of, rarely that a tarantula has that, but I was unfortunate to have that situation. But because of that video, I helped my tarantula come out of DKS. So, Sean, can you put the second picture? Oh, yeah, dry. Good job. Good job, Jolene. You guessed dry. Good job. All right, perfect. So this one here is so the red is going to be the most important of what you're going to be using. So quarantine. Um, immediate, it's to prevent any underlying pre-exposure illness by separating the animal from other animals. Of course, that's a no-brainer. So the ICU is temporary enclosure. Make a suitable replacement environment enclosure for the animal to begin healing or repairing itself, etc. So like I showed, use a small bin with paper towel or as a bedding or substrate, as I discussed earlier. So the reason why we use the sterilite bin is, to hold the humidity much better. Any other enclosures for regenerative cycles, tarantulas chelicerae are used or designed to suck up or slurp up liquid enzymes. So that work is in contrast on how they inhale or absorb water for hydration. Um, have you ever had a care for a sick tea? Let us know. All right. So, like we had in the earlier example. So, whether you're using a small bin or a big bin, what's the most important thing that you need to do first? Number one thing, remain calm. Number two, assess the situation. What is the tarantula's condition? So, situation and condition go hand in hand. So, I want to talk about a lost limb. So, if you ever experience a tarantula that amputated its own limb or arm or anything like that, leg, basically, um, don't worry too much. So when they lose a leg or when they drop their own leg, or if it gets by accident chopped off or anything like that, they do not bleed like we do. So tarantulas, their blood is not really blood. It's called hemolymph. And so their blood acts as a liquid that cannot dry up on its own. So here's a trick. You can use cornstarch. Yes, cornstarch, and you sprinkle just a little bit on the wound so it can coagulate and let it, dry up. So in that situation, if you're dealing with a lost limb tarantula, yes.
I think I remember asking you something like this, and you were telling me about cornstarch. It
Mhm.
was on the Ants Canada channel, and he was talking about one of the little the carrot face was stuck.
Yep.
And out of curiosity, I was like, "Cat, what do you do?"
Yep. You use cornstarch. Now, not too much. Just remember, you want to assist the situation. So make sure it's either a lost limb or anything like that. So when they lose a limb or anything like that, what type of environment or ICU enclosure do you need? Substrate or paper towel? What's your answer? What? Take a guess. Write it in the comments. Well, I prepare. Okay, so in that situation where your tarantula has amputated its own leg or it got cut off or anything like that, the best environment that you want to put it in for ICU is going to be on.
And you will leave that for when we come right back.
Operation Deeds, Not Words 2 is dedicated to empowering and uplifting disabled veterans. ReptileAds.com is the Operation Deeds, Not Words 2 is dedicated to empowering and uplifting disabled veterans and first responders through unwavering support, meaningful resources, and real opportunities that honor their service and sacrifice. Our mission is to build a thriving, impactful organization driven by the shared vision, commitment, and accountability of our team. Because when we work together, there is no ceiling on what we can accomplish.
We are equally committed to the growth of our team members, actively encouraging them to expand their voices, followings, and businesses as essential pillars of our mission. Being part of Operation Deeds, Not Words reflects great credit upon our members, uniting communities in the Fat Man Nation. Green Line morphs under a shared purpose rooted in service, resilience, and action-driven impact. Deeds, not words.
ReptileAds.com is the modern marketplace for buying and selling reptiles, amphibians, and exotic pets. Built by Purple Turtle Technologies, we're creating the most trusted platform in the industry. Join thousands of breeders and collectors on the most trusted reptile marketplace. List your animals, connect with buyers, and grow your business with Reptile Ads. Enjoy your easy access to stores as well as a genetic calculator for your convenience. Stop by and check us out today.
Introducing the Python Portal, a ball python breeder who works on snow and true ghost combos as well as the Tiger Dean.
We also offer many unique custom 3D printed accessories, as well as custom merch, so don't forget to stop by and check us out.
Great. Okay, so someone said the correct answer, and that is Priyanka. Good job. Paper towel. Yes, you want to use paper towel. So in your enclosure type, you're going to use paper towel because you can easily monitor the loss of hemolymph that they lost, whether the cornstarch is not working or you probably missed a spot and it's still bleeding or anything like that. You can tell what's going on the paper towel. So yes, you want to use paper towel. And again, one side, wet and the other side dry. Where is it? The water dish, if you have a tarantula that, had the amputation, make sure it's not a bowl like this. Make sure it's a shallow dish. That way they are easy to go on top and slurp up that water. Same thing with its food, which I'm going to get into the next big detail. Yeah, so water dish for food and water, you're going to use a shallow dish. So have you ever had a tarantula where it lost its fangs, either one or two, and you're like, oh my God, how is it going to eat? How is it going to hunt? What am I going to do? Don't worry. Remember, remain calm. There's always a solution for everything. So if your tarantula had lost a fang or two, you have to be its advocate. You have to be its nurse. So what you're going to do, this is unfortunate, but you have to do it. Just like with humans and babies. You don't like to change a stinky diaper, but you got to do it. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to take the best food item that has the most hydration. So that's going to be gummy worms. Not really gummy worms, hornworms. So these hornworms hold the best and most hydration for your animal. So you're going to take the hornworm or the prey item and you're going to make it into a smoothie for your tarantula so it can slurp up that food. Yeah. So the second best, if you don't have access to hornworms, you can use crickets, but I don't necessarily like to use crickets because it's too dry. Even though if you put drops of water and then you make it into a smoothie, there's not enough nutrition in that. So the next best is super worms, wax worms, anything like that, anything that's a worm. So mix it up like cake mix and put it into the shallow dish and put it close to the tarantula and it will go on top and it will slurp it right up. If you're having trouble seeing that it's not doing it for the first time, don't worry, just keep trying. You keep trying, you keep trying, you just keep trying. Now, if your tarantula had a stuck molt where it was in the process of esidus and it got stuck to the point where it cannot get out of its molt. It got a little bit out, but not all the way out. So what do? Remain calm. You're going to take your tarantula and assess the situation. So if it's halfway out and it's been like that for hours, that's when you want to carefully don't take it out of its enclosure. Leave it where it is and just around the area, take paper towel and roll it up so it's like the long way, and make like a big circle around it. Now this is just an experiment that I've done before. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to tell you the other way, the proper way that you could do. So you're going to take the paper towel and you're going to line it around the tarantula. Make sure it's damp, so it can hold that humidity. I'm going to show you 3 ways. So you can do that, or you can take like a long tube or a long tub, spray it, put it over the tarantula. Make sure there's enough room around so it can get out. So what that's going to do is going to hold humidity enough for the tarantula to get out, because you don't want to spray on your tarantula. Tarantula hairs are hydrophobic, so it cannot stick to it. The tarantula, the water won't stick. So what you want to do is spray the tub, put it on top, make sure the tarantula has enough room to move and everything like that. So what that's going to do is build up humidity and hopefully have enough time to get out. If that does not work, you can still spray around the tarantula on the substrate and hopefully let the humidity do its job. Okay, last thing. Sorry, I'm reading. Let me read it. Yes, hydrophobic. Yes. I love good chemistry. Yay! Me too. Okay, so last resort. If your tarantula is stuck and you've tried everything that I've suggested and is still stuck, best thing that you can do is carefully
Call cat.
Yes. No? Okay. Is carefully become a neurosurgeon. Not really. You can assist how far the legs are coming out from. If it's too stuck, you might have to do amputation. I wouldn't do amputation and just let it be. Give it enough time and hope for the best. Prepare for the worst. Hope for the best. Prepare for the worst. Only because if it's all of the legs and you amputate, it's not going to be good. Of course, they can regrow their limbs in the next molt, but chances are of survival, it's less than none. I would have to think a bit to spray would help. Yeah, around the enclosure, yes, it's a possibility that it could help, yes. But it's not 90% accurate. That would so scare. Yes, it is scary. Oh, okay, yeah, you can totally call me, of course. Any situation that you guys have, I've been through it all. I've been dealing with this for over 10 years. So anything that you guys have trouble with, please call me. And anybody else that you know that deals with tarantulas, please be open to all research. Please be open to that. Right. So amputation. Again, if it's all the limbs that it's stuck, hope for the best. All right. Next thing, the carapace. So the head. If that part is stuck, don't worry about it. That is the number one thing that you do not have to worry about. It's not going to bother them. It's not going to hurt them if it's, stuck or anything like that. So just wait for the next molt. It'll come out fine. Now, I got a question a bunch of times about this question is, why do they get stuck in their molt? Even if I do everything right, keep up with the husbandry, humidity, and everything like that. The problem is not always you. The problem is first instar. So what does that mean? When tarantulas are in their egg sac, so when they're in their egg sac, cooking, getting ready and everything like that, they can have their first instar, meaning their first molt. If they have trouble with their first molt, they're going to have for the rest of their lives a bad molt. It could be something small, and then it'll progress throughout their lifetime. 50-50 chance they improve with how they molt, and the other half they don't. So don't worry about it. It's just how it happened. The first molt, it's just, genetic thing. Yes. What's the next thing? Okay. Their toes. Okay. This is a little bit tricky. So if you have a tarantula that lost their tarsals, their toes, so like they have two little hooks on their feet. If you have a tarantula that lost their toes on an enclosure that was stuck hanging upside down from a mesh lid, hold on. That was hanging from a mesh lid, that's where you went wrong. So mesh lid is not a good or suitable or I would say appropriate. It's not appropriate for the tarantula because tarantula toes, they're not straight, or they're basically like hooks. So when they're hanging from mesh lid, they can't get out from the mesh. Like they're hooked on. So once they're hooked up, they can't unhook themselves. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. So sometimes you see videos where they're just hanging, and if they lose their toes, it's okay. They're going to regrow it. But that is the number one stress cause effect that they go through. So it doesn't matter if you have a good setup or anything like that. If they're hanging and they lose their toes, that's going to be the most stressful thing for them, because that's how they view the world. That's how they pick up those vibrations. And if they don't have their toes, it's like they're blind. What was the other thing for ICU? My snake. Right. So let's go over it real quick. So we have a little bit of time left. So we have your hide that's easily accessible to get out. Oh, tarantulas tarantula cribs may be the most expensive, right? Yeah. There's other alternatives on Amazon that works just as well. There's other companies that have the same less value, but it works just as well. So whatever enclosure you have, just make sure it's suitable for its species. Oh, that's a good reminder. This enclosure right here, this lid, let's talk about it. Okay. We all started with a critter keeper or tub. I do not like critter keeper lids for certain ages of tarantulas because I had a situation where my grandma still a pokra, young teenager. Yeah, she was young. She was still like good size. Um, she was climbing and she got her fangs stuck in between the the vents. So if your tarantula is an adult, this is fine. But if it's like a young juvenile, not good. If you have a tarantula that likes to explore and do that and everything, then your best bet is to go with a solid flat lid like this. So your ICU, what is it for? To assess and accommodate the situation of your tarantula, whether it's an injury or temporary quarantine environment, right? So that was a lot to chew on, right? But we did it. Let me read through the comments. Not so good, yeah. Yep. Okay, so any questions? Let me have them. Sean, any questions? Yeah, that was funny. That would be, oh yeah, that would be scary. Yeah. Think about spray. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've already covered like the tarantula teeth thing, right?
Yep.
Uh the toes.
Yep.
And so what would make them not molt out of their like one of their arms or something? Everything else molted out, but like they got a stuck leg or whatever.
Yeah, so uh two reasons, one or two reasons. They had a bad molt because of how they first started out with the first molt when they were born, and throughout their lifetime they're just going to continue to have bad molts. Or two, your husbandry requirement did not meet enough humidity for the internal humidity did not have enough for it to get out. So tarantulas, before they molt, they have to hold enough humidity inside their body in order to molt out. So it basically, they need enough butter to soften up basically. So if the tarantula is not buttered up before the molt, then it's going to have trouble. So before it molts, before you start seeing any signs, you want to feed it high hydration foods like superworms, hornworms. Those two things hold the best humidity.
What's the scariest experience you've had with tarantula treatment?
Oh, okay. This it's actually not funny. It kind of okay. So with the DKS tarantula that I had, so I put him in a really bad enclosure. I did everything right, but the enclosure was not right. So the enclosure that I had him in, it was one of those that you put rubber bands. Um, I don't know what it was called. I think it was like Exoterra or Zilla. It was a Zilla enclosure where you put rubber bands and you build it yourself. So the latch, it has like a little latch, and it doesn't, I don't trust that latch. So the latch had broken off, but it was still usable. So I left him in there. He was recovering in that enclosure, and I didn't think nothing of the latch. I didn't think nothing of it. So I leave it one day, and my nephew comes running out. He's like, Titi, your tarantula's getting out. I'm like, oh my God. So I ran, and my tarantula was like sticking his two legs out, like pushing, literally pushing the lid up, trying to get out. So that was a scary moment temporarily.
Jolette says, "Yo, you cat. Sorry to chime in, but you have a really good way of explaining thinking."
Oh, thank you so much. So, the way I like to explain things is through illustration, and the way we perceive things is by auditory and visual. So, how else, what better way to learn than to learn by watching something or listening to something that you're going to relate to and something that you're going to understand? So, yeah, speaking in a voice that is slow and easy to perceive, it's, you know, we're all children
Hey,
in a way.
Untamed and Unhinged Reptile Podcast says, "How do I get a blue metallic jumping spider cat?"
Oh wow. A blue metallic jumping spider. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll look at that video and I'll get back to you on that.
Jolette says, "That's what I have found. Gummy worms."
Yeah, gummy worms.
And also, love you, cat.
Love you too,
Uh,
Julie.
Beck. Yeah, I'm just
Thank
gonna say Beck.
you. Yeah.
Hello, Dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
Beck. Laugh out loud. Thanks for sharing. This is Arcane.
Oh, okay. Hi, Becca. Thank you for
Have you
coming.
had a tarantula escape before?
Yes. All right. So it wasn't an escape where I've already had it. It was an unboxing. Um, it was from Tom Patterson, my buddy Tom Patterson. He had gifted me some old worlds. One of them was Mira. So it's a dwarf fossorial species. Beautiful tiger stripes, beautiful. It was just a little tiny sling, so I didn't think nothing of it. You know, it's not gonna go anywhere. Okay, I was unboxing. I had the double bin set up, and it was so cute, so gentle. It was walking so slowly. One exhale, and that thing took off, and it went all over me. And I'm like, I cannot move because I don't know where it is. I don't want to squish it. Where did it go? It actually went inside its enclosure that I set it up. So I'm like looking everywhere. I'm like, where did it go? It went inside the enclosure that I had set it up for. So that was it. Oh, an OBT. I had an OBT sling. I was rehousing it.
It's always an OBT.
It's always an OBT. Always. I had three of them. So 1, 2, and 3. The first two, easy, easy peasy. It had to be the last one where it just did laps and laps and laps. I'm like cupping my arm, cupping everything. Like, dude, just come here. I thought I was so scared. I thought I had squished it with my hand because I was like, come here. It
Oh
didn't. It
my.
was fine. It was fine. I got it. I finally cupped it with something small. I got it. I put it in its enclosure, call it a day. It's still in the same enclosure. I have not rehoused it and I have to, and I'm dreading it. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. That's what I have found. Okay. So I'm reading the comments over here because I can't see it on the screen. Hi, Kiko.
Yeah, Kiko's in the building.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, but everybody, I'm reading the comments from the beginning. I'm so sorry. I didn't see earlier. Yep, I said hi to Jolie. Romero, hello. Santos, Habibi. That's my Habibi. Okay. What was the next question? Sorry. Oh, yep. Oh my
I
goodness.
was just saying, rehousing our first ever. I'm not going to say that word. uh,
Rehousing. Oh,
Bi-
Philogynous. Yeah.
Biogeus. How do you say it, Cat?
Philogynous.
Of
Yo.
course.
Yeah. Got my first old world Haproptera poker face. Yes, they're so nice. So that's the
Chris, I don't know why you can't see everyone in the comments. Maybe we just made you like the
make a
ghost
blue.
member.
Make them blue.
He's the
Yeah.
Casper.
Yeah, those are really nice. The golden leg baboon, those are really, really nice. Um, yeah, quick shout out to Joe. He's unwell tonight, but I love you, Joe and Carrie and everyone. So um hopefully he can come on the next one. But yeah, so that's the ICU preparations, and I hope it helps you and anyone who's watching and everyone else.
Yeah, shout out to Joe, man, and his wife. They're really kind of just going through some stuff right now. So
Yeah.
uh hopefully they get healthy and well soon. We miss Joe.
Yeah.
No, we can't wait to get him back again.
Yeah.
So whenever you're ready, Cat.
Yeah, just real quick. What's your favorite New World? Oh, that's such a hard question.
I like
Because
the OBTs.
no, that's an old world. I have several. Okay. My number one New World is a
Oh
Gramstola
yeah,
Pulcra.
that's right.
Yes, the Brazilian Black Lab. That's my number one. My second is the Acanthoscurria geniculata, the Brazilian Whitney. Um,
Oh,
Gorgeous. Mine is called Beetlejuice, where she's on the other side of the room. And then um, Old World would be Edothera mira, which I have. Um, I love my Ceratogyrus. That's my number one. Ceratogyrus, Marsharli, Darlene, um, Sandiri, Antenotifer. Those are the horned. The one that has the horn. Yeah. I want to get a tarantula, but I'm going to keep watching you and learning. Oh, okay, more before I do. Yes,
that's what I
please.
did. That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I had arachnophobia and Cat convinced me. As a matter of fact, my new favorite, I mean, the Grammastola pulchra, she's awesome.
Yeah.
She's black as ink, but I actually like watching my Arizona blonde.
Yeah.
She's made a whole tunnel system underneath her cork wood,
Yeah.
and it's like available for me to watch all the time. And I'm like, dude, every day there's something new. She's got something blocked off.
Yeah.
So I just do like you told me, put a couple of drops of water in there
Yep.
and let her walk over to it when she wants it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting actually watching all of them. Like I've got the pink toe, the
Mm.
Viculera.
Yeah.
Um, and it's cool watching her build a web, inside the enclosure and stuff. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. It's
But
so
yeah,
rewarding watching them just let them be, and you get to see and learn. Like tarantulas are not dumb. They're intelligent. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
The
Dude,
red.
I never in a cat, I never in a million years thought I would even have a spider in my house that I was like bringing in purposely.
Mm-hmm.
But you've convinced me otherwise, and it's quite addicting. They're not, dude, they're not that bad. So I still have trouble like holding them, but
Mm-hmm.
I think they're okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
But we do interact, and it's not like they're savages.
Yep.
The pink toes, she can kind of scoot sometimes,
Yeah.
which freaked me out the first couple of times, but she's a little love bug.
That's good. I'm
She
happy.
is.
That's good.
Yeah, me too. Great
Awesome.
show tonight, Kat. I'll let you do your thing with the wrap up here.
Okay, sounds good. One thing that I thank you, Sean, for you made a great comment because I wouldn't have remembered. So, if you find a spider in your home and because you have such a great heart, you want to put it outside or something like that, I advise you, please don't. You're actually doing more harm to the spider bringing it outside because you think it's going to survive and because it belongs outside and stuff like that. No. So it's like this concept. If you take a turtle from its environment, you bring it home, you set it up, it grows, and you're like, oh, I can't have it anymore. Let me just put it back to the wild. What happens? It dies. Same thing with spiders. So spiders adapt to their environment, of course. But if you bring the spider where it's never been born outside, but inside, and you bring it outside, it will not survive. Chances is 20% to less. So if you see a spider in your house, if you don't want it in that section, just put it in a different section of the house. So there was an experiment done a few years back that I took a spider because I knew about this. I took a spider and I put it, two spiders. I put it one in the garage and the other one in the porch. So both of them, both of them went back to the original spot they were in. And then another spider, I took it from, I'm sorry, but I took it from where it was at and I put it outside of the porch. That spider did not survive. And I kept an eye on it. It did not survive. So yeah, you want to keep your spiders, and or if you don't like spiders and you want to do the right thing by putting them outside, don't. They're doing two things. They're eating whatever pests you have in the house. Two, their chances of survival, it's not high if you bring them outside. So that's just a quick refresher that I wanted to mention. But yes, thank you everyone for supporting us and the show. My main goal is to help people have a better understanding about arachnids in general and animals in general, and how to keep them, preserve them, conservate them. We're not in this alone. We're all in this together. We're learning together. I'm learning together. I'm not a professional, but I am enough to help you. And by helping you, you're helping me. So thank you so much. And we'll see you next month in the next one.